بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي آمين يا رب العالمين. Let's continue where we stopped. So inshallah today we're continuing with our Nahw and Sarf studies of Surah Al-Mulk. We had done up to ayah number 5. So inshallah today we'll begin with ayah number 6. We'll complete the Nahw, then do a bit of Sarf, and then continue with the Nahw of 7, 8. If we manage to reach 9, inshallah khair. If we don't, we'll stop at maybe 8. We'll see how it goes, inshallah. Okay. So again, as you all know, if you want to participate, you feel free to participate. If you don't, it's also fine. I'll just continue on my own. And if you have any questions, you can ask along as we continue. All right. So let's begin. Now, here we have wow, and then we have للذين. وللذين كفروا بربهم عذاب جهنم وبئس المصير. So we have wow. Now there are two statements regarding this wow. Some mufassirun have said it's wow isti'nafiya, meaning it's starting a new sentence. So this is a new sentence, not related to the previous sentence. Some have said, no, this is harf atf. It is connected to the previous sentence. How is it connected? So the previous ayah was وَأَعْتَدْنَا لَهُمْ عَذَابَ السَّعِيرِ. And so they're saying that this lahum and this lilladina, these two muta'alliqs, they're connected. In other words, وَأَعْتَدْنَا لَهُمْ وللذين كفروا وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير وللذين كفروا. So أعتدنا. So this للذين kind of goes back to أعتدنا through لهم here. So لام حرف جار, and also here لام حرف جار is connected. These two حروف جر حرفين حرفي جرة, they're connected. This one. Okay. So those are the two positions. So we can say wow استئنافية, and we will see this in the translation as well. So I'm just going to write ist because of space, or عطف, right? And of course للذين, الذين would be اسم موصول في محل جر in this case. So موصول here. And then you have كفروا صلة الموصول. So you're looking at a giant jar majroor from here. Sorry, let me just use a pen. From here to the, so that is a giant jar majroor. للذين, li connected to الذين. الذين is اسم موصول. It has to come with a silatul mawsul. So this كفروا is the silatul mawsul. And then كفروا is a فعل ماضي. So this is فعل ماضي. And the فاعل is the واو, the pronoun هم كفروا, هم كفروا. بربهم متعلقان بكفروا. So this is متعلق بفعل كفروا. يعني جار مجرور متعلقان بكفروا. And then of course رب is مضاف, and him, the attached pronoun, is مضاف إليه. Right? So that's the connection. So you can see it's all connected up to there. Now this is a jar majroor. When we have a jar majroor, we have to ask what is it connected to. Then we look ahead and we see عذاب جهنم. So it is rafa. There are only a few things that can be rafa. So this, and because whatever came before it is a jar majroor, then definitely this is mubtada muakhar. Okay? Mubtada muakhar. Because normally when you have a mubtada muakhar, one of the cases is after a jar majroor. Fil bayti rajulun. This is the example I keep giving. Fil bayti rajulun. We don't say rajulun fil bayt. We say fil bayti rajulun. I mean, that's the more correct way of saying it, right? So if the mubtada is nakira, it comes after the jar majroor. And this is what is happening there. Then you have adabu jahannama. Adabu is light, no al. So this is al mudaf. And jahannama would therefore be mudaf ilayhi. And of course, jahannama doesn't take a kasra. Why doesn't it take a kasra? Because jahannama is mamnu' min as-sarf. It is one of those words that do not take, it's going to be fatha, dhamma, u'a, basically. Why? Because it is a feminine word and it is also a noun. a name of a place, right? It's a noun. So that's the reason why it is ممنوع من الصرف. I hope that's good so far. And like we said, this entire sentence, therefore, would be معطوف to لهم. لهم وللذين. So that's how you look at it. That's one way. The other way is you look at this as a new sentence.
Mr. Ilham, would you mind telling me again why it is matuf to lahum again, please? I didn't get it.
Okay. So you have لهم وأعتدنا لهم وأعتدنا للذين. So that's how it is معطوف. Right? So in a sense, instead of me saying وأعتدنا لهم وأعتدنا للذين, instead of me repeating the verb أعتدنا, how do I say it? I say وأعتدنا لهم وللذين.
Correct. Jazakallah, correct.
So that's how it's connected. That's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is this is a new sentence. It's not related. And we shall see this manifesting in the translation soon, as after we
Mr.
finish.
Ilham, then this would be مفعول به then للذين كفروا بربهم عذاب for أعتدنا.
So we said this لهم is متعلق to أعتدنا. So this is also kind of like a متعلق, but in a معطوف sense.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Jazakallah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, then let's finish the ayah. وَبِئْسَ الْمَصِيرِ. Now here again, same thing. This wow seems to be having some issues, like either it's this or that. So grammarians have also said that this wow is either isti'nafiya or harf atf. Isti'nafiya, this sentence is a new sentence, not connected to the previous sentence. Harf atf, it is connected to the previous sentence. So وَلِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ عَذَابُ جَهَنَّمَ وَبِئْسَ الْمَصِيرِ. And for the disbelievers, Allah has prepared for them عَذَابُ جَهَنَّمَ, and what a horrible destination it is. Okay, so it's kind of connected. Others have said no, it's not connected. Again, we shall see this in how the translations have tried to capture these different nuances of this wow. Now, let's look at بئس المصير. بئس. If you remember in our studies in Bayna, بئس is one of the fi'l dhamm. This is under the style of humiliating and praising. Madh and dhamm. Praising and humiliating something or someone, right? So بئس is a verb of humiliating. We call it فعل جامد للذم, right? فعل جامد. So when we're doing the i'rab, we'll just say فعل جامد. You can say للذم, or how do they normally say it? There's a word that they normally say, but I've forgotten. Anyway, فعل جامد is perfectly fine. So you say فعل جامد. Now this فعل, every فعل has a فاعل. Every fi'al has to come with a fa'il. You cannot just have an action happening by itself. There has to be somebody who is doing the action. And that's why, and this is a tangent, that is why the argument from some of the atheists that say that the universe just came to be doesn't make any sense, because something cannot just happen by itself. There has to be somebody who does the action. An action cannot just occur by itself. It's a ridiculous notion. You cannot say that if you leave your phone on the table and you find it on the floor, you cannot just say that this phone by itself ended up on the floor. This argument does not make sense. You'll say, who moved my phone? Immediately you look for a doer. Immediately. So that's why the argument of the universe just came to be by itself is just ridiculous. There has to be a musabbibul asbab, the one who caused it to happen. Anyway, that's a side point, a tangent. So al-masiru, you can see it has a dhamma on it, and therefore this is our fa'il, the fa'il of bi'sa. Okay, now how do we do the i'rab? Now I have a fa'il and a fa'il. So how is it connected to anything? So they say normally when we are discussing this uslub of madh and dham, this uslub of praise and humiliation, there are three parts of it. There's the fi'l, the action of either humiliating or praising. That's the action. There's the one who is doing that action, There's the doer of that action. And then there's the thing that you are either humiliating or praising. المخصوص بالمدح أو المخصوص بالذم. For example, if I am praising someone, I am the doer of the praise. The action is praise. And then there's somebody that I am praising, right? So here we're asking, okay, so where is the مخصوص بالضم? Where is the thing that is being described as horrible? We are humiliating, we are trying to describe something as horrible. Where is it? You can see it's missing. And here it is understood from the context. And the context is that it's talking about Jahannam. If you just read about it, you would understand that it's talking about Jahannam. وَبِئْسَ الْمَصِيرُ Jahannam. وَبِئْسَ الْمَصِيرُ Here. Jahannam is feminine, so here. So it goes back to Jahannam. So obviously the makhsus بالضم here, the thing being humiliated is mahdhuf and it is understood from the concept, from the context. And then how do we do now the i'rab of here, of the makhsus bihi? We will say that this makhsus bihi is actually the mubtada muakhar. So this is a revision of this style. We're just doing revision. So this would be mubtada, and then this bi'sa, this whole sentence will be khabar bi'sa al-masir. This sentence will be khabar muqaddam. Okay? So this sentence here is a khabar khabar muqaddam, and here, which is mahdhuf and understood from the context, it would be the mubtada muakhar. And that's how you do the i'rab. But of course, there's another way of doing it, but I think this one is the easiest. مؤخر. This one is the easiest to understand. خبر مقدم مبتدا مؤخر. The other one is a bit complicated and I don't see the point of it. I hope that's clear. Is that clear? Okay. So let's look at some of the translations. I forgot to share the screen. Let me share this again. Okay. This is ayah number 6. Actually, let me go to verse by verse. Okay. So we have verse number 6. وَلِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ عَذَابُ جَهَنَّمَ وَبِئْسَ الْمَصِيرُ. If مقصوص بالضم is present, it will still be مبتدا مؤخر. Always. وبئس المصير هو. وبئس المصير وبئس not هو يعني أو وبئس الرجل أحمد. ونعم الرجل أحمد. Right? So أحمد would still be the مبتدا, and then this sentence would be still the خبر مقدم. Always. So that's just how you look at it. Yeah. So right, let's see. So you can already see that from the beginning, Dr. Mustafa Khattab here is saying, those who disbelieve, he doesn't translate the wow. Why? Because he's looking at it as isti'nafiya. It's a new sentence, not connected to the previous one. So he just says, those who disbelieve in their Lord will suffer the punishment of hell. And then he puts a full stop, meaning that this wow, again, he's looking at it as isti'nafiya, not related to the previous one. What an evil destination. And of course, he doesn't translate Jahannam because, again, it's understood. The punishment of hell, what an evil destination it is. So if you were to translate the makhsus bidam, you would say, what an evil destination it is. So here, it is, right? Okay. And then let's see T. Usmani. And for those who disbelieved in their Lord, there is the punishment of Jahannam. So again, he's looking at it as istinaf, as a harf atif, so he's connecting to وَأَعْتَدْنَا لَهُمْ. Now we have وَلِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. So he's looking at it as harf atif. And again, he puts a comma, continues, and it is an evil end. So again, you can see that this one is being translated as harf atif. Again, there's not so much grammatic nuances going on here, other than that duality of either wow being isti'naf or waw being atuf. And for those who disbelieved in their Lord. And so again, harf atuf, we can see there. And then we have Abdul Halim says, for those who defy their Lord, we have prepared the torment of hell, an evil destination. From just a surface level, you might think they didn't put an and, so this is not harf atuf. Yeah, you might just think that. But then you read and you see he included, we have prepared. Where did he get prepared? In the ayah, there's no a'tadna. There's no a'tadna. So, but in the previous one, the devils for whom we have also prepared the torment of blazing fire. So in the previous ayah, there's prepared. But in this ayah, there's no prepared. So you can see that by using the same word we have prepared, he is linking that previous verse to this one. So it's harf atuf also in this case as well, right? Even though he doesn't say and, but we just understood from the translation of it. And of course, he also doesn't put a full stop, meaning that this is a continuation. An evil destination, hell, an evil destination, harf atuf, continuing there. And then we have and for those who disbelieved, again harf atuf, and harf atuf here as well. Now we come to Maududi. He says the chastisement of hell awaits those who disbelieve in their Lord. Now this is a completely new sentence. And even you can see the structure, it's not prepared. It awaits for those. Lahum. لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. They will have, yeah, they will have a punishment. And of course, he goes on to explain this is not just for those who believe among the men, but also like in general, disbelievers in general, whether it's devils, whether it's men, just all disbelievers, they will have Jahannam. That's his point, and that's why he's taking it as a new sentence, because it's not related to the previous one. He's just saying all these disbelievers in general will have Jahannam. That's it. And what a wretched destination. Again, new sentence. You can see a full stop there. So that means this is a new sentence. Pictorial and a hapless journey. This is like old English. Very interesting. Whenever I read this, I feel like Shakespeare. And also Yusuf Ali is also a little bit Shakespeare. And you can see for those who reject their Lord is the penalty of hell. This is again a new sentence. And then he doesn't treat the second and as a new sentence. He treats it as a continuation, as harf atuf. And evil is such destination. So that's just some of the translations or some of the nuances from the translation that you can be able to see. If there are no questions, we can continue. Any questions? Are we good? All right. So let's do the sarf. And again, if anyone wants to participate, feel free and raise your hand or unmute yourself and we can continue, inshallah. So we have here inqalaba yanqalibu. This is a family that we have memorized, so we should always just be at the top of our mind. So this is qalaba, and this is bab inqalaba, bab 7. So in fa'ala family. And yanqalibu, this sigha, this form, is the mudara form, of course. And the sarf saghir will do very briefly. Inqalaba yanqalibu, inqilab, because you already know this. Inqalaba, ينقلب انقلاب, فهو منقلب. You can write منقلب. And then the sarf kabir will do the sarf kabir of the mudara because we've identified that this is mudara. So ينقلب, ينقلبان, هم ينقلبون. Right? And you can, at your own free time, you can practice these words and make sure that you can do all the sarf. If you can be able to do all the sarf, perfect. That'll be very good for you. And what does it mean? To return. Okay, in this case, because it's mudara, we shall say it returns. So that we can translate it as a mudara. What's happening today? It returns. Okay. And of course, this refers to al-basar. ينقلب إليك البصر. Okay. Then we have خاسئا. So we can see the root letters are خاسا and Hamza, خسأ. And this is from family one, فتح family. So خسأ يخسأ. يخسأ. خسوء, the masdar is خسوء. فهو, what we get here now, خاسئ, the اسم فاعل.
Ilham, you're writing in the Siga.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. This would be here. Can I just... Why is oh, I'll write it again. Okay, the صيغة. What's the صيغة? خاسئ اسم فاعل. Just like فاعل خاسع. Right? So خسأ يخسأ خسوء. This is how you write it, right? The dhamma at the end. Yeah, they don't recognize this word, but the dhamma at the end, I think it's right. خسأ يخسأ خسوء فهو خاسئ. 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 It has to be, yeah. What's happening? There. خاسئ. Okay. And then, of course, خاسئ, خاسئان. خا. سي. There's the wow. Again, the Hamza, sometimes it gets to me. I think that's how. I'm not so sure how to write this, by the way. Is it like that? No, that's not definite. That's definitely not it. Hmm. I will confirm. Oh, yeah, it was a Hamza. It was sitting on a Hamza. Yeah. Okay. Definitely. Yeah. That makes more sense. All right. And what does it mean? So, khasa, like we talked about, when you are repelling something that is beneath you and you shoo it away and you turn it, you expel it, deject it, that is khasa'a yakhsa'u. And of course, from this, we get the idea of being humbled because the thing that you shoo away, the shooed thing, it's humbled and it's beneath you. It becomes humbled. That's the whole idea of khasa yakhsa'u. And then hasir, of course, this is hasara. And this can either be family one, karuma or nasara, because it's lazim. Karuma or nasara. So hasura yahsuru or hasara yahsuru. Yahsuru. What is the masdar? Hasir is no, hasir is not the masdar. Husur? I want to say husur, but I'm not sure. Because again, with the family one masdars, you just have to husur. Yes, you just have to memorize them. Otherwise, there's no way of really knowing, right? So حصور فهو حاسر. And again, I'm writing, sorry. I don't know. Today, I don't know if it's the saw or whatever, but anyway, so the sigha here is fa'il pattern, and of course, this is will be remember what we said. How do we know if fa'il pattern is mubalagha or if fa'il pattern is sifa mushabbaha? We said we look at it, is it lazim or is it mutaaddi? If it is mutaaddi, then it's mubalagha. If it's lazim, then it's sifa. And karuma family, definitely lazim, so this becomes sifa mushabbaha. That's how you break it down. Okay. So hasir, hasura again. يحسر حسور فهو حاسب. And if you do the entire sarf, of course, somewhere you will reach hasir. And that's the sifa that we're looking for. Here, of course, this is the one we're looking for. Okay. And what does it mean? Hasir, it means fatigued, frustrated. Those are the two meanings. Yeah. Fatigued, exhausted. Yeah. زينا زينا. And this is obviously family too. زين يزين تزيين. And of course زينا نحن ماضي. And of course فاعل is نحن. So we have زين يزين تزيين, like we said. فهو مزين. And of course there are shaddas here. زين يزين تزيين فهو مزين. And we take the ماضي. So the هو is هو زين, هما زينا, هم زينوا. And you do the entire sarf all the way to نحن زينا. And that's where it is. That's where you would find it. What does it mean? It means we adorned or beautified. You would find these words being used for زين. To beautify something, to adorn something, to embellish, to make it beautiful. Then we have the last one, وَأَعْتَدْنَا. So أَعْتَدْنَا. Now here, grammarians have differed. So some have said the root letters is عَدَدَ, and some have said, no, it's actually عَتَدَ. And they've said that those who have said it's عَدَدَ, they've said that the dal became a ta. Although the ones that say it's atada, they say that there's no evidence to show that this change happened. So they say that these are two separate words. The meaning is very close, but there's some differences, like we talked about, right? So anyway, على كل, this is family 4, sorry. أعتدى or أعد, and أعتدنا, this is again ماضي. Just like زينا, and of course it's أعتدنا is معطوف to زينا. نحن زينا وأعتدنا. We beautified and we prepared. So ماضي نحن version, and this would be أعتدى يعتد, again أسلم family. اعتداد, no, اعتاد, sorry. معتد, like Muslim, right? And the ماضي. So أعتدى أعتدى أعتدوا. And نحن version أعتدنا. Oops. Here. أعتدنا. This is the one. What does it mean? We prepared. And of course, the difference we talked about between أعد is to prepare in a sense that you gather everything before you. You gather everything, that is أعد. And أعتد is you prepare something meticulously, carefully, vigilantly, diligently. These are the meanings of أعتدنا. So Allah is carefully preparing Jahannam for the disbelievers, subhanallah. That's the idea there. Okay, let's proceed to Nahw of ayah number 7 now. So the ayah continues, إِذَا أُلْقُوا فِيهَا سَمِعُوا لَهَا شَهِيقًا وَهِيَ تَفُورُ. Again, إِذَا is always ظرفية بمعنى الشرط, and of course it pushes the meaning to the future. So بمعنى المستقبل, يعني it gives the meaning of the future. So here would say إذا ظرف, And of course, it's also a mudaf. It always comes as a mudaf. So whatever comes after it, the sentence is going to be mudaf ilayhi. So this whole sentence is a mudaf ilayhi of إذا, right? And then you have ulqu. Now, of course, ulqu would be the fi'l, and because إذا has the meaning of shart, الشرطية, ulqu would be the fi'l, shart, but of course in this case it's fi'l ماضي, so it's not uh, مجزوم or anything, and of course إذا doesn't, it's غير جازمة in any case. So ulqu, this is ماضي, and it's not just ماضي, it's ماضي مجهول. We don't know who's doing it. We don't know who is throwing that. So إذا ألقوا, and of course the نائب فاعل. I see I'm running out of space already. Maybe I could do this. Okay. So ألقوا فعل ماضي, and the نائب فاعل, because here it's مبني للمجهول. So نائب فاعل is the واو. هم ألقوا, or the هم, whatever you want to look at it. Right? And of course فيها here وبمتعلق بألقوا, جار مجرور متعلقان بألقوا, أو بالفعل ألقوا. You can, either way it's fine. Okay, now we said that this ألقوا is our شرط. Where's the جواب? سمعوا لها شهيقة. When they are thrown, they hear. So the condition is when they are thrown, and the جواب of that condition is what they hear. They hear this. So of course we're going to say that سمعوا لها. سمعوا, this is our جواب الشرط. And of course that جواب is a فعل ماضي again, and the فاعل is the واو الجماعة, or the home version. سمعوا. Now here, this is where it gets a bit interesting. Okay, لها شهيقا. This is supposed to be موصوف صفة. شهيقا لها. All right, but the لها came before شهيقا, and in Arabic you cannot have the صفة come before the موصوف. Right? It's always موصوف صفة, not صفة موصوف. Even in English, we don't say boy tall. We say tall boy. We don't say boy tall. In Arabic, you also don't say the opposite. You don't say, you say waladun طويل. You don't say طويل ولد. It's odd. You cannot say that. So even though we know that this is موصوف صفة, because لها goes back to شهيقا. It is describing, it's supposed to be شهيقا لها, but it is not شهيقا لها. It is لها شهيقا. So how do we do the i'rab of this sentence? This is where grammarians did some gramnastics, what I like to call gramnastics. They did some gymnastics here with grammar to come up with a solution to this, right? And so they said, okay, because the sifa cannot come before the mawsuf, then therefore this laha is muta'alliq to something mahdhuf. There's something that is hidden here, something that is missing, that goes back to shahiqan. So there's something here that goes back to shahiqan, that is mahdhuf, and this laha is muta'alliq to it, right? So that's what they did. And they said that this mahdhuf thing is actually a hal, the hal of shahiqan. The hal of shahiqan is mahdhuf, and this laha goes back to that hal. Okay, I know it's a bit doozy, it's a bit crazy, but that's
Could you
the
please repeat it again, Sister Ilham? It was
yes, I know it's a bit. So okay, mawsuf sifa, you understood that part of mawsuf sifa?
yeah, that part I understood that one. Yeah.
Okay, so now this is supposed to be mawsuf sifa, but when the sifa comes before the mawsuf, then you do the i'rab differently. You don't do the i'rab as mawsuf sifa. When the sifa comes before the mawsuf, we say that this sifa has to be connected to something before it, because muta'alliq is muta'alliq to something before it. It cannot be muta'alliq to something that after it, unless it's muqaddam. And of course, it would be easy if they just said laha is muqaddam. But they say no, it cannot be muqaddam because you cannot have sifa mawsuf. You always have mawsuf sifa. So it cannot be muqaddam. We rule out muqaddam. So how else can we describe this? So we say, okay, fine. It's not muqaddam, but then it must be muta'alliq to something. And that muta'alliq to something, there is something missing here, right? There is something missing, and then this laha is muta'alliq to it. And together, they go back to shahikan. So what is this something that is missing? They say it's a hal. There's a hal that is missing here. A hal, a state describing shahiqan. Maybe I should explain what shahiqan is. Shahiqan is actually a masdar of shahiqa, to inhale, to breathe in. So it's a breath. Shahiqan, a breath, right? So there's a hal of this breath, and this laha is connected to that hal. And we shall see this, how the translations, they try to capture this. So maybe like the hal could be horrible, or some kind of state of the breath. Yeah, the breath is intense, maybe. I don't know how to describe it. Like there's a certain hal of this breath, and this laha is connected to that hal. Okay, maybe when we come to the translations, maybe you'll see how some of the translators try to capture these concepts. And some of them just decided, you know what, there's no need for this gymnastics. We're just going to translate it as mawsuf sifa, because that's essentially, it is mawsuf sifa, right? Essentially. Yes, Sayyidah Fahima.
So Salam, can you please let me know how laha becomes the sifa of shahiqan? How did you identify laha is a sifa of shahiqan?
Okay. So for example, if I said, because it's not connected to sami'u, it's not so it's not sami'u laha. They had of it. Sami'u does not need harf jar. Sami'u takes on, in fact, sometimes it takes on two maf'ul bihis. For example, if I said, no, sami'u as-sawta. I had a voice. I don't need a harf jar. So we know that this laha is not going back to sami'u. It cannot go back to sami'u because sami'u does not need harf jar. Okay, so the only way it is going back to shahiqan. But it cannot go back to shahiqan because it cannot be muqaddam. So you see the dilemma that this sentence kind of poses here. And that's why they introduced this mahduf thing, that there's something mahduf. In any case, how do we understand mawsuf sifa? With harf jar. For example, if I said in the Quran, it says, رَجُلٌ min aqsa al-Madina. A man from the farthest point of the city, right? And min aqsa al-Madina, this is a description of the man. If I told you which man came, the man from the farthest point. I'm describing this man using jar majroor. So that's how I'm describing this. A man with long hair. With long hair is jar majroor, right? بشعر طويل. بشعر طويل, jar majroor. If I describe that man with a jar majroor, then this jar majroor is a sifa to that man. So you understand? So this shahiqan is laha. This breath belongs to Jahannam. It's laha. Right? The breath is for Jahannam. The breath is Jahannam's. Right? So this laha is describing the breath. It is giving me information about this breath. This breath, laha. The breath is for Jahannam. The breath is Jahannam's. It's giving me information. It's giving me a description of the breath. Right? So in essence, if we just understand the meaning, we understand that it's mawsuf sifa because it's giving me information and description about the breath. But because it comes before it, we can no longer do the i'rab as mawsuf sifa. Right? So now we have to do the i'rab slightly differently, even though the meaning is mawsuf sifa. Did you understand?
Yes, Sister Ilham. Sister Ilham, this was like we were taught in Bayina also. If the ism is nakira and it comes after, jar majrur comes after it, then it can be taken as a sifa. Is it the same, right?
Yes. Minna rahma. Rahmatun minna, minna rahma. That's exactly it. But when you're coming to do the i'rab of minna rahma, you would do this gymnastics. But if you do
Okay.
rahmatun minna, you won't do the gymnastics. You see?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Jazakallah.
That's precisely it. Exactly. Yeah. It's just that in Bayina, maybe we didn't go into the details of doing the Arab of it. We just took it as Mawsuf Sifa. Even
Yeah.
though actually, if you read the books, the grammar books, they will say this is cannot be Mawsuf Sifa for the reasons I've explained. You cannot say tall, you cannot say boy tall. You say tall boy. That's the understanding. Anyway, so now we're going to say laha is متعلقان بحال محذوف. Right? بحال محذوف. That is related, that goes back. This hal goes back to shahiqan. They're related. And so shahiqan, now look, sami'u shahiqan. The sentence is supposed to be sami'u shahiqan laha. That is the standard way of saying it. So what would shahiqan be? Sami'u shahiqan. I told you, sami'u as-sawta. So shahiqan, therefore, is a thing that they had. So this is our maf'ul bihi. Maf'ul bihi, right? Of sami'u. What did they hear? They had a breath that belongs to Jahannam. Oof. And of course, this inhaling, I don't know if we talk, oh no, we haven't reached this part, but just to give you some idea, you know when a donkey goes hee haw, you know that sound that a donkey makes? The inhaling part, oh, that inhaling part in Arabic is also called shahiq. Yeah. So you can imagine yani, the descriptions of how Jahannam would be sounding when it's taking that breath in. Subhanallah. Like, scary, scary stuff. Allah musta'an. So when they're approaching it, this is hal of shahiqan. The hal is mahduf. The hal of shahiqan is mahduf. And we're saying that laha goes back to that hal. And shahiqan is a maf'ul bihi of sami'u. So sami'u shahiqan laha. What did they hear? They had shahiqan. Yeah? And of course, laha would be the description of shahiqan. Any questions? Okay. So let's go to wahiya tafur. Wow, wow, haliya. How do I know it's haliya? It's followed by a jumla ismiya, right? Automatically. Wow, haliya. And again, we'll see this in the translations. Here, this is the most basic, fundamental jumla ismiya that would ever have. Here, mubtada, tafur is our khabar, but of course the khabar, what kind of a khabar is this? This khabar is a jumla fi'liya, tafur. Yeah? Fara yafuru. So this is jumla fi'liya and this is mudara. And of course the fa'il is here. Here, tafur. And again here, going back to Jahannam, because Jahannam is feminine, like we mentioned before. Clear so far? Any questions? Are we good? How are we doing? Great. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention something when we were looking at ayah number 6. We have this new feature called the layers translation, and this is like a study mode. When you enter the study mode, you can see different options and different things you can be able to study. So you can see the normal translations that you have selected. And then you can go into layers, and we have this new translation that is based on Ibn Ashur rahimahullah, that was translated by Dr. Suhaib. And you can expand this translation and it gives you more meanings based again on the tafsir of Ibn Ashur, or you can just contract it and get the basic meaning. So when we were looking at this translation, we were looking at harf atif, and you can see here we have and again and here we're looking at that translation. Maybe just something I didn't mention. So you see here, and all who disbelieve. And that's because Ibn Ashur mentions that this disbelievers here applies to all of them, whether it's devils, whether it's human beings, it's amma, it's a general type of sentence, sort of description. And that's why you have all who disbelieve. Those and all who disbelieve. It doesn't matter if they're jinn, it doesn't matter if they're human, it doesn't matter. All who disbelieve will have Jahannam. That's the idea. And again, you can see here, the makhsus bid-dam has been translated. And what a wretched destination it is. وَبِئْسَ الْمَصِيرُ, here it is. Right? So I forgot to mention that. Anyway, let's go to ayah number 7. Number 7, what options do we have? إذا ألقوا فيها سمعوا لها شهيقا وهي تفور. So when they are tossed into it, they will hear it roaring as it boils over. It's roaring. So you can say again, موصوف صفة. It's roaring. They've translated shahiqan here. Instead of breath, they've translated it as roaring. And it's roaring, موصوف صفة. They didn't go into that gymnastics, right, that we were talking about. Very simple, straightforward. No need to fuss over. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like, making it easier is better. But Allah Ta'ala alam. And then we have here, when they will be thrown into it, and you can see here is translating it as future. Why? Because إذا takes it to the future. When they will be thrown into it, they will hear, now here, a terrible sound. Where did he get a terrible sound from it? Now, this is where we have the hal gymnastics coming into play, right? There's a hal of shahiqan. There's a hal that describes the state that describes the sound. And again, he's translating shahiqan as a sound. And from it, laha. So this is the gymnastics that we were talking about. You can see kind of manifesting a little bit. And it will be boiling. So here's the thing. We said wahiya tafur is a hal, waw haliya. You can see the first one, as it boils over. That's a hal, as it boils over. But here we can see, and it will be boiling. So and is harf atuf. So now he's looking at this waw as harf atuf, not haliya. All right? Again, when they are thrown into it, they hear from it a dreadful inhaling. Again, you see the hal coming into play here. Dreadful inhaling while it boils over. Again, while, this is hal. Translation of hal. They will hear it drawing in its breath. Again, mawsuf sifa. No need to fuss over the hal, business, whatnot. It's mawsuf sifa. It's breath. And of course here, Abdul Halim is very literal, because shahiq is a breath. Is a breath. So, or an inhaling is also like this, also can work, right? When they are thrown in, and then puts a full stop. It blazes forth. So he's taking this as what? Wow, isti'naf, not haliya, not atuf, but completely a new sentence. So you can see how translators, like how they approach the grammar of the Quran. When they are cast therein, they will hear the terrible drawing. Again, terrible, this is the hal business we were talking about, of its breath, right? The terrible drawing of its breath as it blazes forth, as again, haliya here. When they will be cast into it, they will hear it roar as it boils. So again, here, they just, no need to fuss over the mawsuf sifa. This one decided I'm not going to even fuss over it. This business of shahiq and laha, I'm just going to give you a simple understanding that you can understand. So again, sometimes translators have to do that because you are translating the meanings of the Quran. You are not translating the Quran itself. So they're just trying to give you an understanding of how you can understand the ayah. So there's a lot of things that are missing in translation. And of course, he goes on to explain a little bit there. We're not going to read all that. When they are flung therein, they hear its roaring, mawsuf sifa, as it boileth over or boileth up. Okay. Again, we're back to Shakespeare. Really love this Shakespearean experience. So this is a hal. And the last one, again, Shakespearean English. When they are cast therein, they will hear the terrible drawing of its breath, even as it blazes forth. Again, we see the hal coming into play here. And then as, which is the way we translate hal. As it happens, while it happens, this is how we translate a hal. And of course, we have the Ibn Ashur translation here. As they are thrown into it, they hear a choking sound. So again, you ask yourself, where is the choking? Again, mawsuf sifa, obviously, but where is this choking business coming from? So if you read the tafsir of Ibn Ashur, he mentions something like, when you find it hard to breathe and you cannot really breathe and you feel like there's something in your throat, it's like choking you. So that's the idea. because this is the understanding of Ibn Ashur. The translation is based on his work. So obviously it's going to stay true to his understanding. Again, as it boils up, hal, right? Okay, so that's the translation. Let's see ayah number 8. Maybe we'll do ayah number 8 and then we can stop.
Sister Ilham, may I
Yes.
know how I could understand how you could took the Ataf, how you took wow as istinafia, but how did you make it out without seeing the translation? Wow halia as it, because it was shahiqan, it was having a nakira shahiqan. So and it came wow came after that. So that's how you took without taking the translation into consideration. Wow
So
as hali.
yeah, how do we know wow as a haliya? When wow comes with the jumla ismiya, this wow is going to be haliya.
Okay.
That's one of the main possibilities. Wow with the jumla ismiya, وهو يذهب, وهو يمشي, أكل وهو يمشي. He ate while he was walking.
Okay.
كتب وهو, I don't know, يقوم. He was writing while he was standing. So it gives you that idea. When you have a wow followed by a jumla ismiya, hal.
Just
Yeah. Yeah, come. Yeah, precisely. I think, yes, the translation makes us understand the grammar even more, which is, I'm glad that we decided to do this. Okay. So let's look at the ayah number 8. Now here, a lot of interesting things happening here. And maybe I should just make this into a new line so that we have enough space to type things. Okay. So now, takadu tamayazu. First of all, just this entire sentence, is it related to the previous one? Is it not related to the previous one? If it is related to the previous one, how do we understand it grammatically? Again, there are two ways. Some grammarians have said, no, it is not related. So this is jumla istinafiya, just starting a new sentence, no relation to the previous one. Again, you have others that have said, no, it is actually related. How is it related? It's a hal. It's a hal of the here in tafur. So here tafur, it is boiling over, and yani, while it is almost, as it boils over, as it almost. So there are two hals, there are two states that are being described of Jahannam here. So that's one view, that tafur, this whole sentence, وهي tafur, this is one hal. And then again, takadu is describing the boiling. Like the boiling is so intense that it almost bursts over. Yeah? So that's the idea. So this is a hal inside a hal, right? So وهي تفور hal, تكاد تميز من الغيظ hal of tafur, of the here in tafur, right? As it boils over, it almost bursts. It almost breaks down. It almost disintegrates from the anger. So that's one view. Okay, so we shall say this takadu. Let me scroll up. So this takadu, جملة استئنافية. Or it could be hal from the here in tafur. Or here, tafur. There, we've described that. But inside the hal, of course, we have takadu. This is kada yakadu. Kada yakadu. Ima was asking me about this in the morning, and I didn't even, it didn't occur to me that we'll be talking about this. So we would be doing revision, a quick revision of Kada and her sisters. Just like we have Kana and her sisters, we also have Kada and her sisters. They're pretty much cousins, if you ask me. Like they're very related. Kada and Kana, they do the same thing. They take an isim, make it rafa, and they take a khabar, make it nasab. That's pretty much it. I mean, of course, there are certain nuances here and there, but what you need to know about Kada and her sisters is that they behave like Kana and her sisters. They're kind of like copycats. You know, Kada, Kana, kind of copy each other. Or rather, Kada copied Kana, right? So that's how they behave. So we expect an isim Kada and we expect a khabar Kada. But the difference, don't want to talk about that. The difference is that most of the time, this Kada and her sisters, the khabar is never an ism. It's never an ism. It's always going to be a fi'l or a masdar mu'awwal. That's the khabar, right? Either a fi'l or a مصدر مؤول. Like in this case, what do we have? We have a فعل تميزوا, right? تكاد تميزوا. So كاد يكاد. So كاد is our فعل, and then تكاد هي, this is فعل مضارع obviously, and here the ta telling us that is here is our اسم كاد, is our اسم كاد. So we figured that part out. And we've said that تميزوا, because كاد always comes with a فعل as the خبر. So this is going to be خبر كاد or خبر تكاد في محل نصب. It's going to be في محل نصب, right? Just like كان. اسم كان is going to be رفع مرفوع, and خبر كاد is going to be في محل نصب. تميزوا. What is تميزوا? This is فعل. فعل, which kind of فعل? This is actually فعل ماضي. Now let's break it down. It's supposed to be تتميزوا. No, فعل مضارع. تميز يتميز. This is مضارع. So it's supposed to be تتميزوا. One ta was removed, and we're going to discuss why. Why is the one ta removed? Because sometimes this happens in the Quran. Like instead of saying the full, both tas, one ta is removed, and we'll discuss the implications of this. But this is فعل مضارع. تتميز. Here تتميز, and of course now the فاعل would be here. Okay, so we figured that part. Then we have من الغيظ. تتميز من الغيظ. Of course this is جار مجرور, and of course it makes sense as متعلقان ب the فعل تتميز, or in this case تميز. متعلقان. Now I read one grammar book that was saying that this من الغيظ is تمييز of تتميز. Maybe, I don't know, but you know the way we learned تمييز is that تمييز is nasab, it's not jar majrur, I don't know. So I don't know about that, but it's easier to just say this is متعلق بالفعل. Okay? So we'll just keep it as that. متعلق بتميز. Clear? Are we good? Okay.
Sister Ilham,
Mm-hmm.
what is khabar of takadu here?
خبر of
Takadu.
this whole sentence. تميز من الغيظ. So you see I've written here خبر. So
Okay.
تكاد, هي تكاد, the خبر تميز من الغيظ. It's going to be في
في
محل
محل
نسب.
نصب, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Always في محل نسب. خبر of تكاد is always going to be في محل نسب. Because it's not,
Right.
it's never an اسم. It's either a فعل or a مصدر مؤول. Right? And of course,
Yeah.
تكاد, it's not preferred to come with a مصدر مؤول. It's preferred to come with a فعل. So you don't say تكاد أن يتميز. You say تكاد يتميز, or تتميز, sorry, because it's feminine. Right.
Okay, Chizak.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I know that's probably a concept that we didn't learn in Bayina, but it's just, it behaves like kana for the most part. The only difference is that it will come with a fi'al, not an ism. The khabar of kana. Kada. Okay. Then we have kullama. We learned about kullama. So kullama, in a basic fundamental meaning sense, this is adatu shartin. So we will say, adatu shartin. And of course, therefore, that means that ulqiya would be our fi'al shart. But ulqiya, what kind of a fi'al is that? Alqa, yulqi, ulqiya. So this ui sound, we have, this is madi, majhul. We don't know who is throwing them in. They are ulqiya. Again, just like, it's a lot of ambiguity in what is happening on that day. Like, again, to create that fear and intensity. About the description of Jahannam. كلما ألقي فيها فوج. So ألقي فيها جار مجرور, simple basic متعلقان to the فعل ألقي. And of course I forgot to say the نائب فاعل here. ألقي, it's coming. Anyway, so ألقي is the huwa version. So whenever we have a huwa version, we have to look ahead and see if there's a نائب فاعل ahead. And of course in this case there is. So فيها, like we said, it's متعلقان بألقية. And then we have فوج, and you can see it is مرفوع. That means that this فوج is the نائب فاعل of ألقية. So ألقية فوج. A group is thrown. We don't know who's throwing them, but a group is thrown in it. ألقية فيها فوج. Again, this فيها is مقدم. You notice these things, yeah? ألقي فيها فوج. It's not ألقي فوج فيها. مقدم. There's تخصيص of some sort here happening. So we say
Sister
كلما.
Ilham,
Yes, go ahead.
why do you say مطلقاني? Why not مطلق?
Okay. So normally there are two parts to jar majroor, right? There's fi
Yeah.
and then there's ha. There's harf jar and isim majroor. These are two things.
Mm.
Because there are two things, we say متعلقان dual form. So متعلق is one, متعلقان is two. Because there are two parts to this, we say both of them are connected. Both of them go back to this. Both of them are attached to this. That's the idea.
Oh, okay. So same applies for the min al-ghaisi, right?
Yes, same thing. من الغيظ متعلقان because we have min and الغيظ, two parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll always see this in the grammar. I know in Baina we learn to say متعلق بالخبر, متعلق بالفعل, but I'm teaching you so that when you go and read a book, when you go read a grammar book, you don't have these questions. You're like, oh, now I see. Okay. It becomes easier a bit.
Because
And I
was
encourage you
figuring
guys.
something was, yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
was figuring something dual there because I thought it's irony there, so maybe it has a dual meaning there.
Yes, it's dual, yes. Yeah.
In
Yes.
terms of jar majroor.
In terms of jar majroor, yes, there are two parts. There's a jar and then there's a majroor. So there are two things
Right.
being spoken about.
Right.
Yeah.
Jazakallah khairan.
Yeah, come. And of course, I encourage you guys to start reading Tafsir al-Muyassar just to get an idea of what's happening in when you're reading about an ayah, especially now in Ramadan, you're trying to connect with an ayah. Go read Tafsir al-Muyassar, see the Arab broken down, so that you can get a better understanding as well. And if you have any questions, you're reading the Tafsir and you're wondering what does this word mean? You come across saddat masadda or fi hayyiziha. You're like, what? You feel free to ask in the group, inshallah.
It's a site, Sister Ilham, Tafsir Muyassar?
No, it's if you go to Al-Bahith Al-Qur'ani, the Furqan, the Tafsir app, so there's so many different tafasir. The first one, the one that, if you go to the ulum section, the grammar section, the first one is Tafsir al-Muyassar. It's an easy tafsir. Maybe I will, I could have shown you, but maybe I'll send a video on the group, just a short clip to show you how to get there.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that, inshallah. Okay, so we said كلما is a datu shart. ألقي is a فعل shart. So we expect what? We expect a جواب شرط. شرط جواب شرط. So look at this. سألهم. كلما ألقي سألهم. Every time they were thrown, what happened? Somebody asked them. Yeah? خزنتها. The keepers asked them. Right? So this is our جواب شرط. So this is جواب. And of course, inside this جواب, what do we have? We have سألهم. سأل فعل ماضي. Oy, what am I doing? Yeah, ماضي. And of course, it's سأل. It's the هو version. Again, when we have the هو version, we look ahead. See, is there a فاعل? And ahead, just immediately, we see what? خزنته. خزنته. This must be the فاعل, right? So we're gonna go ahead and say خزنته is the فاعل of سأل. And of course, the whom, I forgot to mention here, the whom attached pronoun to a فعل is going to be a مفعول به, right? Space is a problem to write all this stuff, but you will get the idea. Not writing, okay. And of course, خزنتها is the فاعل. Now, سألهم خزنتها. The keepers, خزنة is a plural of خازن. keeper, خزنة, right? So this is the plural. خزنة, and it's a broken plural. خزنة جهنم, and the ha goes back to Jahannam. خزنتها, the keepers of it, the keepers of Jahannam, right? So ha again here is مضاف إليه. Now they ask, what do they ask? Right? So this is مفعول به number one. They ask them, but what is it that they ask? So whom is مفعول به number one because it answers who. Who do they ask? They ask them. But what is it that they ask? We come to that. ألم يأتكم نذير? So you see this entire sentence, ألم يأتكم نذير, answers the question, what? Answers the question, what did they ask? This is what they ask. So this is مفعول به number two of سأل. All right, so this entire sentence is going to be مفعول به number two. And inside that مفعول به number two, we have a question. We have a question. A is a questioning Hamza. This Hamzatul Istifham. So I'm not going to write it because it's really long. And then lam is also a harf. So both of these are harf. Harf harf istifham, questioning Hamza. And then you have lam is also a harf nafi, harf jazm, harf qalb, has several names. But the one that we are familiar with is harf jazm, right? Because why? It makes the mudara majzoom. So this would be lam. Okay, so I'm going to skip those huruf because of space. But I think you're familiar with that. Then we have ya'tikum. Ya'tikum. Now, this is mudara majzoom. How do I know it's majzoom? Because first of all, there's lam before it. If I see lam and there's a fi'al mudari after it, this fi'al mudari must be majzoom. Must be. There's no other way. Lam before a fi'al mudari, the mudari will be majzoom. But how is it majzoom? I don't see sukun. Because ya'ti is actually naqis. It's supposed to be ya'ti. So the ya that was here disappeared. Oops. It disappeared. And that's how it became majzoom. Yeah. So ya'tikum, and of course the kum, like we've said, is a maf'ul bihi. Any pronoun attached to a verb is going to be a maf'ul bihi. Alam ya'tikum, ya'tikum madha? Did a wanna not come? Sorry. Did it not come to you? What is this? It nadir. So you see, ya'ti is huwa version, but there's an outside dua. Nadirun would be the fa'il of ya'ti. Did a wanna not come to you? Did a wanna not come to you? That's the question that is being asked here. I don't know, we're slightly above time here, but we'll just look at the translations, inshallah, and then we can stop there. Any questions so far? Is that clear? What's happening there?
Ilham, you didn't tell us why the Mayazu is, shortened. Or what was
Yes.
the implication of it?
This one we'll discuss in the next class, inshallah, because we haven't done the explanation of ayah number 8 yet. I think we stopped at number 5. Yeah, so inshallah next week we shall discuss this. Yeah.
Inshallah.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. So let's look at the translations of this ayah number 8 and then we can end there, inshallah. So, almost bursting in fury. You can see like it's almost a continuation. This is not a new sentence. This is a continuation. So, this translator is not looking at this as a new sentence. They're looking at this as the hal. Remember we talked about this sentence could be a hal inside a hal. So the first hal is وهي تفور. That's the first hal. And then we have تكاد تميز is a hal of Jahannam as it boils over. So a hal inside a hal type of situation. And that's what is happening here as well. So almost bursting in fury. Then we have كلما, every time a group is cast into it, its keepers will ask them, again, what will they ask him? Did a wanna not come to you? Yes, Ima.
What did you put for takadu? Because we were talking about that today. Sorry, I missed the takadu part. It's
Oh,
kada
it's
yakudu. What did you Iraq that
kada
one?
yakadu.
Yeah, but what did you put it as a just normal madi naqis or
Okay, let's go back there.
sorry, I didn't. Yeah, I
No,
wasn't
it's
around.
fine. It's fine. And I thought you were there because I mentioned you. I was like, I just talked to Ima about this in the morning. Anyway.
So it's istigna hal mudari
So-
here. Oh, that's all.
Yeah, so you just say this takadu is فعل مضارع. فعل مضارع and the fa'il is here. Sorry, the
Okay.
ism. It takes an ism and a khabar. Just like kana.
Okay.
So the
So
ism
you
would
don't
be
do more than that.
you can do فعل ناقص. You can
Yeah.
say فعل ناقص. That's يعني you can do that.
Okay. It's just
So
being
فعل
translated
مضارع
as
ناقص.
almost, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just like kana.
All right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. The impact, all I know, I just
Yeah.
thank you.
And of course, the sentence here تميزوا, we said this whole sentence would be the خبر of كاد في محل
كاد.
نسب.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back. All right. So yeah, so we said two ways of looking at takadu, either as a hal or as a new sentence. Okay. So you can see like the first one, Dr. Mustafa Khattab is looking at it as a hal. It's not a new sentence, right? Seeming as if it will burst out of fury. Again, you can see that there's a connection to the previous sentence. It's not starting a new sentence, right? Seeming as if it will burst out of fury. So again, also here we are seeing this as a hal, going back to the previous sentence. Whenever a group is thrown into it, its keepers will say to them, had no one come to you? Right? Again, Sahih International, oh, difference here. Now, Sahih International starts a new sentence. It almost bursts with rage. This is a new sentence. He's not looking at it as a hal of the previous sentence or of here in Tafur. He's looking at it as a new sentence. It almost bursts with rage. Every time a company is thrown into it, its keepers ask them, did they not come to your warner? And again, you see how Fauj is being translated. A group, company, right? But a group is fine, right? Almost bursting with rage. Again, hal. It's going back to the previous sentence. It's not starting a new sentence. Its keepers will ask every group that is, so you see, كلما ألقي فيها فوج. So here, Abdul Halim is capturing the fact that this is nakira. Every group. فوج, a group. Every single group is thrown, a keeper asks them, right? It's not just all the group, like every group is being asked this. That's why Faujun is Nakira. And we shall talk about this Faujun being Nakira more, inshallah, next week. I didn't mention it before. So they asked that, did no one come to warn you? Interesting translation there. Because Nadir is a warner, but now he translated it as a Jumla Fi'aliya. Did no one come to warn you? Interesting. I would like to understand the process behind that. Anyway, it almost burst up with fury. We see a new sentence here. This is a new sentence. It's not a hal like the other ones, right? Every time a group is cast therein, its keeper will ask, did no warner come to you? So you see most of the translations are going with, no warner come to you. Alam ya'tikum nadir. No warner come to you. So I'm really curious about this translation here, to be honest. Did no one come to warn you? Very interesting. Or maybe because nadir, I don't know. Anyway, I'll think about that some more. Anyway, then we have here hal, as though it will burst with rage, right? Not a new sentence. Every time a multitude, we see Faujun being translated as a multitude here, is cast into it, its keepers will ask them, did no one come to you? Same kind of translation, nothing new. As it will burst with rage. Again, we see as, this is indication of a hal, right? Whenever a fresh host, now we have host here, a translation of Fauj, is flung therein, the wardens thereof ask them, this is Shakespearean English, can there unto you no warner? Oh my God. Nobody speaks like this anymore, but it's so fun. Yes, Iman, go ahead.
A little bit puzzled because
I
it
didn't raise your
uses
hand.
the warner as a fi'il instead of a masdar, is it? Or an ism, is
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah, so here is actually isim sifa.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why you were kind of like
Yes.
wondering why he used that. Okay.
Why
So
did he
generally
say
you
boni?
like to stay a fi'il, you like to keep it as
Yeah.
a verb in English.
Yes, and also because this is the translation of Professor Abdul Halim, and Abdul Halim is very literal, and he tries to stay within the boundaries of i'rab. So if it's a fi'al, he would translate it as a fi'al. If it's an ism, he would try to translate it as an ism.
Okay, got
So
it.
to me, this is a bit interesting to see
But I
this.
think the sentence it's very acceptable English, I think. Did no one come
Exactly.
to warn you that, as opposed to m- trying to match the ism word and like a noun word and a verb word, and then the English becomes a little bit odd.
Yeah, true. True. And we see
Okay.
that actually happening in translation a lot, where
Mm,
translators they focus on the flow and the
the
understanding
matching.
yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, as opposed to keeping true to the exact text.
mm,
It happens a
mm.
lot, yeah. Yeah, but I'm still curious though. Like this is very odd for me, especially
For
with
him.
For him, yes.
Okay, got it.
So I would like to understand that more. Or maybe that's just my own understanding of him. Maybe I don't really understand his translation that well. Allah Ta'ala alam, I don't know.
I thought he's like very modern, one of the more modern ones, and therefore it fits the English better. I thought it's just easier to understand.
No, the easiest one that follows flow and just English is Mustafa Khattab. If you
Yeah,
just
yeah,
want to
but
understand flow, yeah,
that's simplistic to me. Abdul Halim, I thought is still scholarly, but English is
it's
modern,
better.
young even, I would think.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely,
yeah.
definitely. The only like what I'm struggling with is the fact that he's very true to grammar more than the other
But he wasn't
translators.
here.
Yeah, but here
Mm,
he wasn't, so that's kind of like
okay.
what's going on here. Yeah,
Mm,
so that's kind of like what is. But obviously he's a scholar. I am not. I'm not really questioning. I'm like curious what's
mm.
happening. Yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, the whole time. Okay, yeah, we are done anyway. So alhamdulillah, you can live. No problem. وإياكم جزاكم الله خير. So where were we? Yeah. So it almost busts up with fury. So this, like we said, this new sentence, not a hal like the other ones. So every time a group is cast therein, it keepers will ask, did not want to come to you? Same translation. As though it will burst with rage. We see this as a hal, not a new sentence. Again, the rest is pretty much the same. This one we said it's also a hal, like you can see as. Basically, this is indicative of hal. Whenever a fresh host, yeah, this where we were with the Shakespearean English that is really sometimes very difficult to understand. Also, Yusuf Ali, same thing, almost bursting with fury. It goes back to the previous sentence. It's not really necessarily a new sentence as such. So it's still a hal. Every time a group is cast therein, its keepers will ask, did no one come to you? Da, 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 da. Finally, let's look at the Ibn Ashur translation. Almost busting with fury. Again, this is pretty much a hal. Every time a group is thrown in, its keepers ask them, did I want to not come to you? Again, there's no much difference between the translators, as you can see. The only amazing thing with the Ibn Ashur translation, the Ashur translation by Dr. Suhaib, is that you can expand the translation and it will give you like a deeper insight to how Ibn Ashur thought about this ayah, right? So every time a doomed group from yet another nation, it's angelic keepers. So these small things that just add flow and understanding behind Ibn Ashur's process. That's the idea. And that's it. Inshallah, we can stop there, inshallah. And next week, we'll do the explanation from ayah number 6. Um, and yeah, this surah, subhanAllah, I can't wait to get to the end because, wow, the structure of this surah it's just I think it's the best I've done so far. And I think I get better every time. So alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Really amazing stuff. Wa iyyakum jazakumullahu khairan. It's an honor. And I really look forward to next week, inshallah. May Allah reward you also. And may Allah accept our fasting and may Allah accept our salah and our qiyam and our zakah and our sadaqah and everything that we do in this month. And may Allah make us witness Laylat al-Qadr And may Allah keep the good deeds that we keep doing in this month. May Allah continue throughout the year until next Ramadan. And may we witness more Ramadans to come. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. And may Allah accept all your du'as. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. I will see you guys next week inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم.
Walaikum salam. Thank you.
Bye bye. See you guys next week.